The shocking truth about Alexander the Great. History remembers Alexander the Great as the greatest conqueror of all time. A man whose name echoes through the corridors of history. He was the king who built an empire stretching across continents, uniting East and West. But what if I told you everything you think you know about him is a lie? What if behind the glory, there was a darkness few dared to speak of? Was Alexander truly a hero, a visionary who dreamed of uniting the world? Or was he a ruthless dictator who brought ruin to civilizations in his path? Imagine the fear he inspired. Entire cities were burned to ash. Men, women, and children enslaved, their fates sealed by his ambitions. But the story doesn't end there. There's another side to Alexander, one shrouded in mystery, betrayal, and death. Did he really conquer the world for glory? Or was it something darker, something we may never fully understand? Legends whisper of his untimely death. Some say he was poisoned by those closest to him, allies who feared his growing power. Others claim he was buried alive, betrayed by his own men as his empire crumbled around him. But here's the most chilling part. Legends suggest Alexander's body vanished without a trace, leaving behind only questions. For centuries, scholars and adventurers have searched for his final resting place. His tomb, the so-called lost treasure of antiquity, has eluded us all, and yet, his legacy lives on. His empire may have fallen, but his name remains eternal, a symbol of power, ambition, and mystery. His story didn't end with his death, it became a legend. A legend that has inspired emperors, warriors, and dreamers for generations. But legends have a way of hiding the truth. What drove Alexander to achieve the impossible? Some believe he was guided by divine forces. Others say it was sheer human ambition, a hunger for power that knew no bounds. And now, a shocking discovery has been made. Could it be the truth we've been searching for? Alexander's tomb may have never been found. What secrets lie buried with him? Could those secrets rewrite history as we know it? Or would they confirm what we already suspect? Some say his tomb holds treasures beyond imagination, gold, jewels, ancient texts that could change everything. Others believe it's cursed, a trap meant to protect his secrets for eternity. Or could his tomb hold answers to an even greater mystery? What if Alexander's empire wasn't the end, but the beginning of something far greater? Prepare yourself, for what you're about to uncover might just change everything. Every great legend has a beginning. Let's uncover the origins of Alexander the Great. 356 BC, a boy is born, but this was no ordinary child. His mother, Queen Olympias, believed he was not a mere mortal. She told him stories, whispered in his ear, "You are the son of Zeus, the king of the gods." Whether true or not, one thing was certain. From the moment he was born, Alexander was destined for greatness. Even as a child, he displayed remarkable courage and brilliance. At the age of 10, he tamed the untamable horse Bucephalus, a creature so wild, no one dared approach it. But Alexander did not see fear. He saw opportunity. People began to whisper, "This boy is not like the others." The gods themselves must have smiled upon him. Under the guidance of Aristotle, the greatest philosopher of the time, Alexander became a master of philosophy, science, and the art of war. By 16, he was already leading armies into battle. At 18, he crushed his enemies in his first war, earning the respect of seasoned warriors. And by 20, he was crowned king of Macedonia. But Alexander was no ordinary king. He didn't just rule, he conquered. His dreams stretched beyond the borders of his homeland. He wanted more, he wanted everything. With his loyal army by his side, he united Greece under his rule, an achievement no king before him could claim. But Greece was just the beginning. Alexander set his sights on Persia, the most powerful empire of the time. The Battle of Issus, a clash of thousands. Alexander faced Darius III, the mighty Persian king, vastly outnumbered. Alexander's army fought with precision, courage, and an unrelenting will to win. On the battlefield, Alexander humiliated Darius, forcing him to flee. The Persian Empire was his. But the young king was far from satisfied. He marched to Egypt, where he was welcomed not as a conqueror, but as a liberator. It was here that he founded Alexandria, a city destined to become a beacon of knowledge for centuries to come. Still, his hunger for conquest knew no bounds. He ventured east, marching his army into the unknown. In India, he faced war elephants, beasts his men had never encountered. Yet, Alexander's brilliance prevailed. Through innovative strategies, he triumphed once again. By the time he was 30, Alexander had built the largest empire the world had ever seen. From Greece to Egypt, Persia to India, his domain stretched across continents, a testament to his ambition and genius. His men called him a god, his enemies called him unstoppable. But beneath the glory, questions lingered. What truly drove Alexander to conquer the world? Was it the prophecy of his mother, a divine calling, or an insatiable hunger for power, a hunger that could never be satisfied? And as his empire grew, so did the cracks beneath his foundation. The seeds of rebellion were already sown. The shadows of betrayal began to loom over the king who sought to rule the world. This is the story of a man who refused to be bound by limits. A king, a conqueror, a legend. But even legends must pay a price. As Alexander's empire grew, so did the shadows of betrayal. What lies ahead is a tale of blood, ambition, and the ultimate price of greatness. In the shadow of Alexander's triumphs lies a trail of blood. Blood spilled not just on the battlefield, but in the halls of power. Before Alexander could rise, his father, King Philip II, had to fall. Philip, the mighty ruler of Macedonia, was assassinated during a grand celebration. The killer, one of his own guards. But the question remains, who ordered the hit? Some whispered it was Olympia's, Alexander's mother, a queen known for her cunning and ambition. Others suspected Alexander himself, eager to seize the throne. What kind of son would kill his own father? Was it ambition or desperation? Some believe Philip's growing power threatened even those closest to him. The truth was buried with Philip. But it wouldn't be the last betrayal in Alexander's story. Years later, tragedy struck again. Hephaestion, Alexander's closest companion, his most trusted friend, his rumored lover, fell ill suddenly. The man Alexander trusted more than any other was gone. Was it a simple fever, as the physicians claimed, or was Hephaestion poisoned? Some say his death was orchestrated by those who feared Alexander's dependence on him. For Alexander, the loss was unbearable. He mourned for days, refusing food, refusing sleep. He built a grand funeral pyre and declared Hephaestion a god. But grief turned to paranoia. Alexander's inner circle grew tense. Whispers of betrayal filled the air. If Hephaestion could fall, could Alexander be next? As Alexander's empire expanded, so did the enemies within. The more he conquered, the more isolated he became. His once loyal generals began to question his judgment. His ambition, once admired, now seemed dangerous. And then came the accusations. Some claimed Alexander's obsession with power was tearing the empire apart. Others whispered that he was planning to declare himself a god, a move that frightened even his allies. Could this ambition have sealed his fate? The question wasn't if Alexander would fall. The question was when. Was he poisoned by his generals, who feared his growing instability? Did they conspire to end his life before he could destroy everything they had built together? Or was Alexander's greatest enemy not a man, but something far more sinister? Some whispered of curses placed upon him by the lands he had conquered. Others spoke of divine punishment, that no mortal could rise so high without angering the gods. The shadows grew darker, the empire trembled, and Alexander's fate was sealed. But how and why? The answers may lie in the events that followed. Events that would shake the very foundation of his empire and his legacy. Alexander had conquered the world, but there was one enemy he could not defeat: himself. His final battle was not fought on the battlefield, but within his own body. What happened next would shake the foundations of history itself. In 323 BC, at the height of his power, Alexander the Great suddenly fell ill. He was just 32 years old. The man who had conquered the known world now struggled to conquer his own body. The symptoms were strange: fever, severe pain, and a growing weakness that left him paralyzed. His generals, his soldiers, his people watched helplessly as their king began to fade. Within days, the mighty conqueror, who had never been defeated in battle, could no longer even speak. The silence was deafening. Some say it was malaria, others claimed typhoid fever, but whispers of something far darker began to spread. Was Alexander poisoned? And if so, by whom? Some pointed fingers at his generals, the men who had marched with him to the edge of the known world. Had they grown tired of his unrelenting ambition? Had they conspired to end his life to save the empire from collapse? Others looked to the lands Alexander had conquered. Did the Egyptians curse him for declaring himself a god? Did the Persians seek revenge for the fall of their empire? Was this their final act of defiance? Or was his death something far beyond mortal comprehension? Then, there was the body. For 6 days after his death, Alexander's corpse showed no signs of decay. It remained untouched, as if frozen in time. To some, it was proof that Alexander was a god, a man chosen by the divine to rule the earth. To others, it was evidence of something even more chilling. Had Alexander been buried alive? Imagine it, the great king, paralyzed but fully conscious, entombed in darkness, unable to call for help. If true, it would be the cruelest fate of all, a man who had ruled the world, trapped and powerless in his final moments. But the mystery doesn't end there. After his death, chaos erupted. His empire, once unmatched, began to fracture. The generals who had once sworn loyalty to him turned on one another. The unity Alexander had fought so hard to create crumbled in the face of greed and ambition. What would have happened if Alexander had lived longer? Would he have conquered even more lands? Would he have built a true empire of unity? Or would his ambition have destroyed him from within? Some believe his death was inevitable. No mortal could rise so high without provoking the wrath of the gods. Others see it as the ultimate betrayal, proof that even the greatest rulers are vulnerable to human jealousy and fear. And yet, even in death, Alexander's legacy endured. His name became a symbol of power, ambition, and mystery, a name that would inspire emperors, generals, and dreamers for centuries. But his death also served as a warning. The empire he built so quickly fell apart even faster. Was this the inevitable price of ambition? Or was it a reminder that no man, no matter how great, can truly conquer time itself? And what are the secrets he left behind? The treasures, the texts, the wisdom he may have carried to his grave. Could they hold the answers to mysteries we have yet to uncover? The mystery of Alexander's death remains unsolved. Was it disease, poison, a curse, or something more? As we search for answers, one question lingers. What does it truly mean to rule the world? What does it take to shape history? And is the dream of immortality ever truly worth it? Or is it destined to remain a fleeting illusion? His empire crumbled, his vision faded, but his name, it refused to die. More than 2,000 years later, Alexander's greatest legacy is in the lands he conquered, but the questions he left behind. What does his story teach us about power, ambition, and the price of greatness? Alexander the Great, a name that has echoed through the corridors of time, a man whose ambition knew no bounds, a conqueror who ruled over the largest empire the world had ever seen. But even the greatest legends have their price. His death remains one of the greatest mysteries in history. Was it disease, poison, a curse, or was it the inevitable end for a man who dared to defy the gods? For centuries, scholars have debated the truth. But what about his legacy? Alexander's empire crumbled within years of his death. The unity he fought so hard to create shattered by the ambitions of his generals. The dream of a single, united world vanished. But his influence didn't end with the fall of his empire. The cities he founded became centers of knowledge and culture. Alexandria, in particular, stood as a beacon of learning, its libraries preserving the wisdom of the ancient world. His vision of East meeting West inspired generations to come. From the Roman Empire to modern leaders, Alexander's name became synonymous with ambition and conquest. Some call him a hero, others call him a tyrant. But what do you think? Was Alexander a visionary who sought to unite the world? Or was he a ruthless conqueror driven by an insatiable hunger for power? His story is one of triumph and tragedy, of ambition and betrayal. It's a story that forces us to ask questions about the nature of power itself. Does greatness come from the battles we fight, or the lives we touch along the way? Even today, Alexander's name inspires awe and curiosity. But perhaps the greatest lesson lies not in how he lived, but in how he died. What does his story teach us about ambition? It teaches us that ambition is both a blessing and a curse. The same drive that builds empires can destroy them. What would the world look like today if Alexander had lived longer? Would he have created an everlasting empire? Or was his vision destined to fail from the start? Alexander's true legacy is not just his conquests, but the questions he left behind. Questions that resonate even now. What does greatness mean to you? Is it the power to command, or the wisdom to inspire? Is it the ability to conquer, or the courage to create? History is filled with leaders who rose to greatness, only to be brought down by their own ambition. From Julius Caesar to Napoleon Bonaparte, their dreams shaped the world, but also led to their downfall. So, what sets true greatness apart? Perhaps it's not in the power to conquer nations, but in the ability to unite people and inspire them to dream bigger. The world remembers Alexander not just for his victories, but for the boldness of his vision. The world may never know the true answers, but one thing is certain, Alexander the Great's name will live on. Not as a mere king or conqueror, but as a symbol of humanity's eternal quest to leave a mark on history. What kind of mark will you leave? Will you build or destroy? Will you inspire or divide? In the end, the choice is yours. Alexander's name has echoed through time, not as a mere conqueror, but as a legend. A reminder that history remembers those who dare to dream and those who dare to destroy. But in the end, history is written by those who take action. What legacy will you leave behind?